Hello, hello. What is up? Oh man, I had a sheet hanging very res-like to block all the sun behind me, but it fell and I forgot to put it back up. So it's fine. You won't be seeing this very much longer. How is you? I haven't quite figured out how to get the stream running better on my streaming software yet, so we're doing it res again today. I can safely say it's not my internet. My internet is fine. I think it's just my laptop is not powerful enough to run the software. So all of the settings for figuring all that out are pretty advanced. So I'm still working on that. Maybe I'll have to learn how to put different like software items into laptops. I don't know. It's interesting. I really want to figure it out though because that's way cooler than this. Hi Mighty Might. Resway is the only way. I know the laptop I have, I bought it secondhand, and it's like I can't even remember its specs, but I want to say it's like a 2017, which isn't like super old, but you know that is 8 years ago, so believe it or not. And it was cheap. It was like $150 or something. So I think that's part of my problem is I don't have like super nice equipment, and that's something that I've been wanting anyways, is something like really nice equipment, but I just can't bring myself to spend the money on it. I end up spending my money on travel instead. And that is old in computer world, yeah. I figured it would be good enough. I had purchased the laptop with the intention of mixing music, so that doesn't require a lot. But I haven't been doing that, so I can't use my work laptop for this. So I have to use my personal one, and my personal one sucks. So yeah. Maybe I'll have to look into actually getting a PC or something someday. But all right, I'm ready to get started on the beadwork. And where's my phone battery at? I can't tell. I'm just going to go and grab my phone charger real quick. That's one thing that I forgot to do beforehand. I'm actually a little late just because I was watching some videos on how to deal with the streaming software. So your girl watches YouTube tutorials too. But yeah, I'm gonna go get my phone charger and I'll be right back. Phone charger has been acquired. So we're almost done with the green portion. And then after that will be the black part. Um, if you notice anything with the audio, please feel free to speak up and let me know. I can turn things up or down. Don't be shy. Oops. I had such a difficult time getting up this morning. I didn't roll out of bed until about an hour ago. I had enough time to like feed my cats, make some coffee, make some breakfast, eat the breakfast. Oh really? How'd it go? Do you like it? My first medallion was terrible, believe it or not. I made it for myself and I didn't really know how to make a medallion. Hey, the beadwork itself doesn't look too bad, but its construction is bad. I still wear it from time to time though. Oh, nice. I like how you sewed it right to it too. When I was in high school, I wanted a pair of fully beaded leggings, and so I got started on that. But I think, I don't know, because I was a teenager, a mix of most of my time was devoted to school and work, and being a teenager, I didn't have enough in me to get them done. I did fully bead my moccasins, but I didn't get the leggings done. And they had like, the leggings were pretty similar to the ones that I have now, where the design was like a large flower and then the rest was mostly just filling. So I managed to get the large flower completed on one of them. I just didn't do any filling. And so what I did to still use like all of that beadwork was I cut the flower off, and then I basically made a medallion without adding a necklace to it, and then I hooked it up to my belt. So I just had this big beaded piece hanging off of my belt. So that's a nice way to use, or like not just use, but like reuse things that you've cycled out of their original use. So if you have like a medallion that you never wear as a necklace anymore, maybe take the necklace portion off and hook it onto something. Ooh, yeah, bustle centerpiece. That's pretty good. I really need to do something with my old regalia. I need to like give it to somebody. I've been holding on to it in case my daughters want to take it over, but neither of them like to dance, so. Okay, I don't like this song. Switching that. Pretty sure I put this on the same playlist as yesterday, just reorganized. Always the obligations before the fun, hey? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I should probably do a sideways one here. What's these? I get my beads from a friend of mine. She runs a store in Grand Rapids, Michigan, but she does sell online. It's powwowsupply.com. But the actual store is called Bead and Powwow Supply. There's a few places around here, but one is in Canada. Like, I live on the border of Canada, so there's a store like right across the border that I can go to, but I don't always go to Canada. Like, it's a process to get over there, and their prices are a little higher than my friends. And then the other store that is in the area, they always have a lot of like supply issues. Like, I bought some size 13 beads for a project, the other medallion that I'm working on, and I swear they're size 11. They're not size 13. Oh man, I've run into a pickle. I'm gonna have to have a whole row of sideways, but I feel like even sideways is too thick for the amount of space left. Yeah, that's how, like, Joanne's was the same way. I would never buy beads from there. The only time I would buy beads from those places is if you're buying like the pony beads, the great big like size 6 ones. Okay, I think I can do a row of sideways. There was I had a cousin last year. He asked me to help him with some peyote work, and he was like, I can do it, I just can't get it started, and I've been trying to get this project done for 5 years now. And I was like, all right, bet, I'll help you. And he hands me the thing he wanted peyote stitched and the beads that he was trying to do it with, and they were like they were those like Joanne kind of beads, and I was like, bro, you cannot peyote stitch with this. Because I mean, some of the beads were half as wide as the other ones, and I'm like, you need, for peyote stitch especially, more so than like this type of embroidery, you really need a consistent size of bead. Otherwise your peyote stitch is gonna, it's not gonna look good. And yeah, the friend that I have to order online. Sometimes she will make an appearance up where I live because she has other friends in this area and just likes to sell in this area. So like last time I bought beads from her, she had a little pop-up shop on the res, and I went and grabbed some. Otherwise, to purchase from her in person, I would have to drive 5 hours. But her beads are always good. And what's funny about that that project with my cousin is, so I did it for him, and it took me like a couple months because I just couldn't get around to actually sitting down and doing the beadwork. So I finally sit down and I do the beadwork, and he's like, all right, cool, how much do I owe you? And so I like barely charged him anything because I'm like, you're my cousin, like this was more of a favor thing. And I found out like a few months later that he didn't keep the beadwork on it, and he was like searching for somebody else to do the beadwork. And I was like, oh man, I don't think he liked the design that I did, which I just did like a simple, I think I just did like a simple like zigzag or something. Maybe he wanted something more intricate, I don't know. It doesn't bother me if somebody doesn't like something. I'm just like, you have to be honest. Don't tell me that you like it and but when you don't, that is 100 times more bothersome to me than being like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this, because I didn't just do it and then give it to him. I sent him pictures like, this is what I'm doing, what do you think? And he was like, oh, cool, I like it. So he could have stopped it beforehand, before it was finished, but he didn't. I had another cousin who ordered a medallion from me. It's on the channel. It was a birch bark medallion, and the necklace that you see in the video was actually changed, and I think I posted the video before the change was made, or I can't remember why I didn't get it on the video, but he ended up asking for a completely different chain for the medallion, and I was like, yeah, no problem. You don't like it? That's totally fine. I will change it. And I did. Yeah, yeah. Especially if you're given that opportunity to do so. I can see, like, if some artists didn't check that, hey, am I doing what you want me to do? They're just like, yep, I'll get it done. And then they give you a finished product and you're like, yo, I didn't have any say in anything. But I hope he finds somebody to do it, I guess. And I also wasn't the first person that he asked. He had asked a few people, and every time that he got somebody to do it, they just couldn't do it for whatever reason. Like the lady before me, I'm actually friends with her, and she took it to help him, and over time she was like, I'm too busy, I can't do it. And she had to give it back. So it's like kind of a cursed project. I don't like that. It's like pushing on the beads. Like if I can get this inner black row to like push on this when I put it in, that might keep little divots of this row from poking out. Actually, this one is extra thin. I want that to be on the end. Kind of rare to find one that thin. That's why I don't like the beads to be like too quality, too consistent. I'm kind of thinking about ripping these 3 out and putting this one in that one's place. For the sake of it coming out good, well, for it coming out well. Like, I don't think we've gone too far for a redo. And am I tripping? Okay, I think I was holding the needle wrong. Maybe my thread's just... This is the newer Nemo thread, which I feel like shreds a lot easier than the old. Which poses a problem when you're trying to re-thread your needle. There we go. Alright, this should look better. Yeah, the ones I have are like the fabric scissors, the kind of scissors that you shouldn't cut paper with. But I heard that this thread company did change their thread to be a little different. A lot of people are complaining about it, and I can see why. I swear it shreds easier. Did you get like the Fiskars? Mine are like, they're not like cheap scissors, but they're not the like $20 Fisker ones. They're still pretty budget. But still nice and slicey. I bought them in a pack, and the other size I use for sewing, and I've since like purchased more scissors for sewing, and every time I end up going back to the ones that came with these ones. They're just so good. Yeah, that's what I have. And it's not good. I actually didn't use the rest of my original roll that I have. There's still quite a bit left, but it got lost and bounced around in a bag full of whatever, so it's not white anymore. It's like stained thread. I don't know how. Oh, okay. The Fiskars scissors are always so good. All right, so that's all the green. The inner design is done. Just have to do the black now. I am gonna take some time to put these beads back. I don't have an easy way to do it. When was I? Okay, so my mom, she is on the internet too, and she streams every night on TikTok. And she has like a cute little community of people that watch her, and of course, being a mom, she likes to talk about her family, and she told them that I bead. So they asked her to have me come on her stream one time and show them how to bead something. So I went on and I did peyote stitch, and I just remember somebody asking, how do you put the beads back when you're done? And I was like, I'm sure people have easier ways to do it. I don't have an easy way to do it. I picked them up and I put them back in the bag. That's it. Having some claws certainly helps. A little bug spider back. What do you like, suck up the beads and then just empty the container into a bag? That's actually genius. Like those little desk vacuums. I think I have one of those. Hi, Jacob. How goes it? Nice. Yeah, I think I have one of those. I'll have to give that a try. I don't know where it is. So I'm gonna fill in this little area and then probably tie it off and go around. I feel like from here on out it might be a little hard to see what's happening. Maybe not. A triangle bead tray just for leftover. I've tried like the more flat like mats and pads and stuff. I really prefer something that's kind of deep. Like a bowl type thing. And I really like these kitty plates. That's what I use. I've been using these for years and I can't stop. Nothing else suits me. Especially these sectioned ones, because then I can have a few different colors at a time. And I can like move them. So I rarely sit in the same spot and bead. I still have this old Peppa Pig bowl. I haven't used it in a while, but the eye of Peppa Pig would always trick me because it looked like a rogue black bead would be sitting there and I would try and like stab it. I'm like, oh, it's the design on the bowl. Tupperware tops that's pretty smart. I like that. I remember one time I was over at my mom's, I think it was a birthday party or something, and I brought some beadwork to work on while I was there. And I'm sitting around the dining table with my grandpa, and he, of course, he sees me with my little bowl, and he was like, no, that's not the right way to do it. He's like, you got to get a paper towel, and then you lay the beads on the paper towel, and they won't move anywhere. And so I had to sit there with beads on a paper towel the whole time because Grandpa said so. I didn't like his method, but I was a good granddaughter, and I just listened. Oh, that's a good idea for keeping some quills soaking. I really want to try my hand at quill work. I know I can do it. I have a ton of quills. I have so many. None of them are like dyed or anything though. The only thing I've done with quills so far is like make some dangly earrings. Yeah, because you only use like a small portion of the quill most of the time. I think I'm going for filling the inside of this D. I think I'm gonna go up and down. Because I don't think I want the texture of this inside to like curve with it. I feel like it might muddy up this curve. Hopefully, I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain anyways. Maybe I can use my idea of making like a couple ready to go medallions for the tribal president to like make a quill work medallion. I have some leftover velvet from the last time. She wanted a velvet medallion. Maybe I could put the quills on there. Some like strong backing. Then I can add quills to my resume. I get asked every now and then, like, what type of art do you do, or crafts do you do? What mediums do you work with? And I never know how to answer that question. Because I'm like, a lot. It really depends on the type of conversation we want to have. Maybe you should just tell me what you do first, and then I'll see how I can relate to you, because it'll be easier to just have the conversation that way than list out everything that I've worked with and can work with. There's different ways to do quill work. And the kind I want to do is like the flat quill work, not the kind that you like poke holes and like tuck the edges in on the back. You can like wrap the string around it and then fold it, wrap the string around it, fold it again. And that is actually, now that I think about like how much of the quill gets used, it's usually all of the quill that gets used for that type. Hi, Chucky. Have fun. I hope you enjoy your powwow jam. It just feels a little wrong at this point for me to not have done quill work, really. Aside from the dangly earrings. Which was mainly me beading and then dangling some quills off of the beadwork. Oh, see, it because I haven't done it yet, I didn't realize that that was an issue. That's probably why you'd want to keep them soaking, hey? So you really make sure they bend. Did I get this bead up, or do I need to do a sideways one? I think I need to do a sideways one. Cool. Why does this look like it can fit, but it's not going up? I think I need to bring the thread up a little later. If I have black thread, this wouldn't be a problem. So I'm going to take these off and try again. Hi, Charlie. I think it looks like that's your name backwards. Oh, wow. Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment. And good luck. It's gonna come out great. Promise. Alright, so I think I'm going to make the thread come out right there. Hard to believe how long it's been since I made that fan. That was like when I very first started making it. I still remember exactly when that was because I had just gotten my cat, and COVID had just closed everything down, like very, very soon before that. So because of that, like I got my cat from a shelter, and I couldn't go and meet him before taking him home because you couldn't go in the shelter due to COVID restrictions. I just had to trust that I was gonna like the dude. And so yeah, I had to like be in my car and wait for them, fill the paperwork out in my car, and then wait for them to bring him out to my car. And so yeah, I brought him home, and then I got started. I think like maybe a few days later, I got started on the fan during one of those like social distancing Zoom calls. I want to say it was a craft night or something. And bro was all up on me, like trying to get to my feathers. He wanted my eagle feathers so bad. Yeah, cats generally like me. And I think I'm pretty good with cats, so I had a lot of faith that I was going to be okay. And here we are, 5 years later. My second cat, I named her Spicy because we all kept calling her that. Because she was spicy as hell. Her story is a little funny. She's Canadian, and I was dating somebody for a minute who lived in Canada on the Canadian side of my city. And at her work, one of her coworkers had found a box of kittens on the sidewalk. A box of kittens and their mother. And so she took in this box of cats and took it upon herself to find all of them homes, which I think is so sweet, so awesome. And I'm not even exaggerating or kidding, like a few days before that happens. What the heck? My phone should be charging. It unplugged. Now I have to plug it back in. Okay, hopefully that's good. Anyways, where was I? like a few days before the girl found the kittens, I was talking about how I was thinking about getting my cat, or getting another cat, so that my cat had a friend, or like a family member, another cat to bond with, especially because I really like to travel, and I was nervous about my cat being home alone. So yeah, she was like, guess what? You were thinking about another cat. My coworker found one, or found some. You want one? I'm like, oh, for sure. Yeah, okay, I'll take one. This was clearly meant to be. But all the cats I kept picking. Of course, I was going for the black ones, and they were getting picked. Like, what I told her was like, okay, I want this cat, but because, you know, at the time there were a lot of COVID restrictions, you had to get COVID tested at a facility to be able to cross the border within a certain amount of, it was like 72 hours or something before crossing. And it was just really hard for me to get over there. And also, I just didn't have time to completely take a cat in just yet. I needed a few weeks. So I was like, if somebody ends up choosing a cat that I have picked and they're able to take the cat first, don't hold the cat for me. Give the cat to them. And it kept happening. It happened like 3 times. And so by the time that I was able to get one of the cats, there were only 2 left. And or I think there might have been 3 left actually. But I ended up choosing Spicy because I was like, I really like her coat. She's a tortoiseshell cat. So they're like black with like little brown spots on them. And she was like, yeah, okay, cool. But just so you know, this one's a little spicy. And so she would like send me videos of her. And she would always be like hissing and didn't want her anywhere near her. And I was like, you know, I feel like I have a lot of patience, and I believe there's no bad cats, just bad owners, and she'll be just fine with me. I'll work with her. And so yeah, when it came time for me to pick up the cat, nobody else had picked her, and I brought her home, and yeah, she was super spicy. She'd hiss at me. She wouldn't let me touch her. I think it took like 2 weeks before she would let me touch her. And her intended name, I had planned to name her Soup, but we just kept calling her Spicy. And it just hit me one day. I was like, your name is Spicy. And that's my cat story. That's all the cats for me now, for now though. We almost fostered my partner's niece's cat. Yes, I mean niece. These are native people. She's the same age as her niece. They just had a baby with some health problems and were nervous about their cat just like being a problem. So we were gonna take her in and foster her until they were ready to take her back, but they ended up saying, you know, I think we're good. Which seemed like a good idea. I don't think that they've been having problems. Oh, Casper is such a cute name for a white cat. I had an all-white cat when I was a kid, and his name was Critter. I love that you have an all-white cat and an all-black cat. Cute. I love that. I love pet names. Especially if there's multiple pets in a household and their names are kind of on theme with each other. Oh, really? Fat and likes lasagna. I'd love another cat, but I can't afford it. Not without, like, reducing the quality of their food. Actually, I think I need a thicker one for right here. I'd rather be giving my cats the better food than getting another cat. Nice, you can't even tell that the black beads are facing in different directions, some of them. She has some boundaries. That's cute. I don't think there's any strays in my neighborhood, but there are a few cats that are allowed outside that I've seen, and one of them looks a lot like my cat Noodles, my black cat. And I discovered that because one day the cat kind of tricked me, or not tricked me, but like had me guessing. I went outside to shovel some snow, and I see this black cat like yonder in the distance, and it looked like my cat Noodles, and I was like, wait, did Noodles get out somehow? I'm pretty sure he did not sneak out when I walked out the door. And I was like, no, it's just another cat. And I couldn't stop second guessing myself, so I actually went back inside and checked that Noodles was still in. It was just another cat. Yeah, yeah, the focus will definitely be on the bold colors. Plus, I like that I decided to print off like a black background so that the white of this Pellon would not be like poking through the black. Otherwise, you would definitely see a white spot like right there and a white spot right there. All right, so it's time to do this outline and then fill. I want to do the outside first and then fill from there. I'm just gonna do like the roundabout way and just trying to keep that round direction when I'm in these inner pieces. It can get pretty tough though. Another way to do it is like outline the circle and then do a line of black just outside of all of this. It's hard to say. No, I totally get it. I'm the typo queen myself, to be honest. Okay. Happy beading to you too when you get there. I'm just gonna do the outline first and kind of decide in a little bit if I want to do a line of black outside of these. How far is this? Yeah, I'm gonna cut these off. Okay. All right. I'm not really crazy about the playlist today. Whenever I start or end a line, even if I'm beading 2 beads at a time, I always tack down the last bead or the first bead, depending on if you're in the beginning or the end. I find that if I don't, you can see a little thread between the first or last 2 beads. Oh no, I think I accidentally tacked down this thread a few times. That's fine, it's just the tail. Cut it off. Maybe move this so I can be more careful. Ouchies, I just poked myself. I'm realizing I'm not sure if I'm saying some things in my head or if I've said them out loud or not. I was thinking it's so satisfying beading in this perfect circle. I don't know if I said that out loud or not. I really can't remember. I'm just gonna take a quick second to grab some coffee. It's right next to me. No sugary coffee for me today, I fear. Like, he actually puts the sugar in it. I have never put sugar in my coffee, not recently, myself. Like, I don't think I've actually put like creamer and sugar into my own coffee in like the last 10 years. When I mean sugary coffee, I mean like from a coffee shop, like a latte. Otherwise, when I'm at home, my partner really only likes the lactose-free milk. I'm not lactose intolerant. Actually, neither of us are. She just prefers to not have lactose in her milk. She feels like it's just better for her belly. And I like the taste of it, so I put that in my coffee. So I don't really consume regular milk either. And I don't want to buy a whole bunch of milk just for the coffees. It'll go bad. So her lactose-free milk is pretty good. But I really do like coffee in any kind of way. I love coffee. And I will drink it super sugary. I'll drink it with just milk. I'll drink it with creamer. I'll drink it black. A black coffee can go hard if it's a nicely like roasted and nicely brewed coffee. Oat milk is so good. I like to get matcha as well. with oat milk and lavender in it. It was something that Starbucks did a few years ago. They only did it for like the springtime or something, but all the mom and pops places will do that around here too. I just have to ask for it. But yeah, oat milk's pretty good. Oh my goodness, try it. If you like matcha, especially like matcha lattes that have a lot of like milk in them. And because in those types of drinks, the matcha is toned down, like it's not as earthy and matcha-like, if you know what I mean. The lavender is just, it's like lavender syrup they'll put in it. It just gives it like this sweet, I don't know, I don't want to say like flowery, but it kind of is. It's a flower. I do have some matcha to make at home, but I've never actually taken the initiative to make it. Maybe I should. Maybe I should go get some lavender syrup. We should splurge on oat milk instead of lactose-free milk. And I'll make my own matcha latte at home. It's not even a latte. I don't know why I'm calling it a latte, because a latte would have espresso in it. One time I did ask for the like matcha with oat milk and lavender. I asked for it with a shot of espresso and it tasted weird. Is that how oat milk is made? I've never thought about it. Oh, I'm not in frame, sorry. The late stage capitalism has won in a sense that I don't often think about, how can I make this at home? It's just, I can grab that at the grocery store. My partner, however, loves talking about like food sovereignty and traditional foods. So sometimes she keeps me in check in that way. I was a commod kid, so. I'll have to see if she wants to try it. She always buys like oats in bulk because she likes to eat oatmeal. You're still a commod kid. I guess I'm like somewhere in between. I don't get help with food. But like, so I subscribe to HelloFresh and I have for years, and in some ways you save money, and other ways I feel like you spend more. But it's not necessarily like a cheap service to have. And it sounds bougie as hell to have a, you know, a food delivery service. But at the same time, when I don't eat the HelloFresh food, I pretty much just don't eat. I might have like popcorn for dinner or like a peanut butter and jelly. So I'm like in between. I'm like on the HelloFresh nights, I'm middle class, I'm rich. When the HelloFresh is gone, I'm come on, kid. Balance. I've also noted, like, I like to talk about how there's a new class, I fear. There's no like upper, middle, lower anymore. There's just a new class of people, and I'm in that new class. I have like a chronically runny nose. I have to blow my nose like every hour. I kind of have to right now, to be honest. So before, I would just use toilet paper to blow my nose. I'd keep like a roll of toilet paper wherever. And yeah, rip off a couple squares, and I would use that for like a face tissue to wipe my nose with. And I got made fun of so hard by my friends. I thought, because my mom has a runny nose all the time too, and I learned it from her. She would always have a roll of toilet paper like right next to the couch, and I thought that was so normal, and I guess it isn't. I guess people don't just normally have a roll of toilet paper like in their living room. She's since upgraded to buying Kleenex tissues, but so have I, but I use them so conservatively. I actually will take them and rip them in half and only use half a tissue at a time. So I get the one box, I get like double of one box. And that's why I say, like, there's the new class. It's like a middle class person would have the box of tissues, but a lower class person would have the roll of toilet paper. And I'm in between where I'm like, I have the box of tissues, but I'm not going to use the whole tissue. Sorry if this is a stupid conversation. I just think this is like fun to... It's like a quirk, I feel like. And maybe other people can relate. Sounds like Nintendo music. What is that sound outside? I can't see from where I'm sitting. So are you toilet paper next to the couch, Resi, or are you rip your tissue in half, Resi? Napkin because we're low on TP. That's funny. Can take the girl off the res, but you can't take the res out of the girl. I don't actually live on res land anymore. I haven't since 2012. That's because there's no fucking housing. There's none. The only housing there is, you have to be on. My brother just got a place on the res. He got an apartment. It took him 2 years on a waiting list to get it. There's especially no houses for sale either. Like, because I own my house. So, in order to sell or buy a house on res land, you can only buy from or sell to another member, which makes sense. But then that comes with like scarcity. So yeah, I live in like a neighboring town, and what I've come to notice and find out is that a lot of the people in my neighborhood are they're native too. They're not necessarily from my tribe, they're from the other tribe that's in this area, but one of my best friends lives like 4 doors down from me, and we like to joke that we're starting a new res. Yeah, it sucks. So, okay, so there's this old casino on our res. It's not open anymore. It closed when COVID happened, and that was just like, that was the final straw. It had been in talks of being closed down for years before that, but people just really wanted to hold on to it, even though it was not making any, like, it was doing really bad. The business was doing really bad, and they kept it open way longer than they should have. And so it finally closed, and like the building that it was in is one of the older buildings on the res, so it had a lot of problems with it. And that was another reason why it was just due to be closed, was the building was bad. It would cost like more money to fix it up than to just rebuild. So we've been in talks of like what to do with that space, and our tribe doesn't conduct business by just like the elected council making all of the decisions. There has to be like a collective vote on a lot of things, and so all of the members voted that we could rebuild in that space and do something better. But there's a couple of like older people that are just like, no, we need that casino. And so one of the things that we want to do is have more housing, like build some apartments there. And I can't believe that some people are like, we don't need apartments. I'm like, are you kidding? Father-in-law's res. Yeah, this is like our own little res we have here. Half the people in this neighborhood are native. I didn't learn that until like a while after moving here. The primary way I learned it was like during an election season for their tribe. A couple of the houses had signs up that they were like voting or supporting whoever. And then my son just discovered that one of his friends, who is also native, lives 3 houses away from us. We had no idea. Alright, I think it's time for a new string. It's actually like really lucky and magical that I have my house. It was really the only option I had. And out of curiosity, I kept an eye on the market after I bought the house. And yeah, if I didn't get this, I would have been homeless until I could find one. No, they just want to hold on to old stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry, but the heyday of that casino is gone. Your nostalgia is not serving anybody. Although low-key, so what the particular person I'm thinking of is a fisherman, and he sells his fish, like he's a tribal fisherman, but he's also a commercial fisherman. And what he advocated for was bringing back the little restaurant deli that was right there. And I think he was just looking out for himself because he wants a restaurant to sell fish to. That's my theory, and I think it's a strong theory. The other people, I think it's just nostalgia. They're not ready to let go of a place that they loved, even if it's not what it used to be. Speaking of casinos, it's kind of funny how many people recognize this logo. I'm not sure I would have recognized it if I didn't know what it is. That's why I felt strongly about having a disclaimer at the beginning of this. Like, I'm not associated with this company. I know that part is, I understand. That's hard. The other like thing that you could say about that too is we live differently now. Like, part of the reason that we need so much housing is because we've really, I mean, at least my res, we've really adopted like that nuclear family frame where there's, you know, a mom and a dad and then the kids. There's no like family living or communal living. There's no village living. Our what's that called? Like multi-generational family living. When we used to be that way. And it's like if we did live that, I know some people still do, and even my family has practiced that for like my uncles. A few of my uncles have remained with my grandparents. But for the most part, the like general res population does not live that way, and I think that's part of the reason why so much housing is needed, is because families aren't cohabitating. You have 3 family living in their own units in the same apartment building. That's really cool that they managed to get so close to each other. Three generations in her house. Wow. Yeah, for the most part, my family it's only been like 2 generations in a house max. It's just kind of like the family members that didn't have kids, they would remain with like their parents or a grandparent. And I know if I needed a place to be, I could be with like at my mom's. She would welcome me in. But we would fight a lot, so I don't want to I don't want to do that. I like having my own space. I'm sure some of our ancestors would have dreamed of the space that we have. Sometimes. Sometimes I wonder, like, how did they deal with that? Being so close and like not having very much privacy. I'm trying to think if there's like who in my community lives in a multi-generational house that's more than 2 generations with like children involved too. There's not very many. I think a lot of the times once you have kids, you're expected to like grow up and get your own place, and that sort of multi-generational let's have a village vibe leaves, and it's kind of sad. But at least we have like rooms now. Could you imagine being multi-generational in like our wigwams? How did anybody snag? Like that's the question I have. Did they like go off in the woods or something? They're like, oh, we'll be right back. Yeah, we're going fishing, wink wink. You snack after everyone goes to sleep. But what if what if grandma and grandpa are waiting up and mom and dad are waiting up and they're like they're both just like, when are they gonna go to bed? Maybe they organize it by night. I don't know. I feel like they probably just snuck off at different times of the day. That's my theory. It wasn't necessarily like a at night type thing, and at night in bed. I love that we're talking about this. It's also my fault we're talking about this, so sorry about that. I think the longest I've stayed with my mom in my adulthood was like, I believe like 2 months. I was in between apartments and I had just my first child at that time. He was a toddler. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, you guys are definitely right. I did like leave the house a lot because that was the best way I could have just like me time and me with my son time. I called dibs on the wig. They're like, man, we were gonna take that time. Well, you got that time last week, so. You can take that time next week. But next week I have to, the berry season starts. And I'll be too busy. Everyone else is at Grand Entry. Sometimes I like to think about like what so-and-so's role in the village would be if we did live in older times. Just because for some people it's not as clear. I'm clearly the craft person. You know, like some people, I feel like a lot of people just break it down to either like a hunter or a berry picker nowadays, but there are definitely many more roles than that. I think it's pretty clear that my role would have been like the outfitter, like the one that makes the things. Like, hey Chelsea, I have a baby coming. I need some blankets and stuff. I'll give you some meat for it. Okay, gotcha. For the mats, everyone helped. They took turns to weave those, so it was constantly worked up. I mean, there was a lot needed all the time. New things, replace things. I imagine that's the way it was for a lot of people. I am curious if some people did have just like one key role that kind of um, was more prominent in their day to day than other things. Because when I say I imagine my role in the village would have been like the outfitter and the craft person, I don't necessarily mean like that's the only thing that I would have done in the day to day. But I think that I imagine for some people, like they had a more prominent role that was like their main focus, and then all of the other things were kind of like their secondary thing that they would do, things that they would do. Yeah, that's why I think that would have been my role, because like, I mean, times have, it's 2025 now, but we haven't necessarily stopped being a village. And my role in my village is I get approached to do work like this versus the people who are still fishing and the people who are still hunting deer and selling the meat. It's just that the exchange is money now. It's not exchanging like services and goods. Unless you make it that way. I do still see people doing like art trades, which I think is pretty cool. I haven't done anything like that yet. I'm a little nervous to pick something like that up just because of my own, like, I feel a little self-conscious, or I would feel a little self-conscious about an art trade, because I'm like, what if they make something I love and I make something they won't? Or the other way around. What if I put too much work in this and then I don't get much in return? I think diverse skills is why we were able to care for our elders longer, and people who were other able pitched in as they could. Oh, for real, yeah. We had a contributing, we didn't end the ethic. Yeah. It was definitely of like, what can you do? I think even in like a capitalist sense, that still exists in the traditional job market today on my res. And what I mean by that is like, we have all kinds of different jobs that are open to anybody, really, whether they're tribal or they're not. And there are a lot of non-tribal people that work in our community. And there's the whole process. There's the application, the interviewing, the hiring. Like it's a very very much a traditional job market, but we put an emphasis on tribal members being preferred. So for instance, if a tribal member applies for a job and a non-tribal member applies for a job, and they're like equally qualified, the tribal member has preference. And that's because, like, hey, listen, yo, this is our village. We take care of each other. And, you know, we're trying to assign a role to our village member. And so, yeah. That's one way I think we really employ the everybody does what they can. I've done trades before. Some were better than others. The better ones were with the people I knew longer and communicated with better. Yeah, those are definitely two very important things to consider. Not just like some rando on the internet or something. And the communication, like I was just talking about that earlier with the favor I did for my cousin, and him saying that he liked the design, and then I find out later that he was seeking somebody to redo it. I was like, why did you tell me you liked it when I checked in with you? I wouldn't have continued working on it in that way if you didn't like it. Nice. Not this matching up without me having to strategize on how to fit the beads. Hi, Tea Smoker. I am making a medallion. It is a commission from somebody who wants to gift it to another person. So whenever I reach the, like, when I round about, I don't like to stick the needle right through. I like to connect it to the next couple of beads. And then stick it through, and then I still tack down like that last bead. I lost it. I forget where it even is. Right here. I usually like to also tack down in between the starter bead and the ending bead, like where I connected each end of the circle. I think it might be fine. I think it's these ones. Maybe I will. I'll go ahead and tack it. I'm not in frame. I'm sorry. hyper focusing on the project and not dividing my focus between this and the camera. There we go. Yeah, that looks better now that I've tacked that down. Oh, okay. I like how you said you're a fellow Canadian. A lot of people think I'm Canadian. I'm not Canadian though. Very close. I might as well be Canadian, to be honest. I live right on the border. Like, I can see Canadian land from my house. And I have ancestry in Canada as well. So I'm debating on whether to outline black around the design or not. Or if I just want to keep going in a circle and having the beads like meet up. It might be useful to outline the design. Just so if there's any gaps, yeah, for real, imaginary borders, I hear you. If there's any gaps between like the black beads and the color, if I outline this in black, the gaps might not be as visible. Normally I don't outline the inner design, but I just feel like the high contrast between the dark black and the bright orange and green, it might be wise. You vote for outlining the design? I trust you. I think I'll go ahead and do it. Let's start right here. It's not just other natives that think I'm Canadian though. A lot of I have a lot of like European friends online. There's this one French guy that I've told time and time again that I'm not Canadian, and he insists that I am. All right, well, we're going for it. Thanks, guys. Oh no! The string got caught on my broken nail. There we go. I really want to trace what family members I have from Canada, though. I know that it's a grandmother on one side, anyways. Like, I don't know every family line, because it splits up quite a bit. You know, you have your mom, your dad, and you have your mom's mom and dad, and then your dad's mom and dad, and then their four, yeah, so I just know one of my lines, there's a grandmother that came from like the Quebec area, I think. And another one of my lines came from the Wisconsin area. I also have like Menominee ancestry, but I don't really associate myself with Menominee tribe just because I'm not like connected in any kind of way. Little thing I like to do with 2-needle beading is when you have one string that is way long, so this is the one that I'm using for tacking down beads, and now the string that I've been using to like string the beads on is really short. When I get to that point that the stringing thread is short, I like to switch them. The tacking thread gets used faster because you're using more of it. And also, I don't want to start the next line with a short thread because then I'm gonna run out of stringing thread before this is completed. I also feel like it gives it like a little bit of insurance too, in case something snags, like there's been a switch. I don't know, like, I know the names of the sizes, but I don't know their measurements. So they're size 11 beads. We'd be like, who's your grandma? What's the last name? Yep. Who's your parents? Who's their parents? Oh, I think I'm related. You know what? You just made me realize something about myself too. Not just myself, but like a lot of Native people. So like last night I was hanging out with some friends and one of them has been recently introduced to me by my friend. So like, okay, there's 4 of us. And I have a friend. They have a friend. And I have a different friend. Those 2 friends we have are also friends. So we've all come to discover that, and so we've been getting together and hanging out. And so I was talking to my friend's friend, follow along, my friend's friend that I've been introduced to recently. They asked me how I knew my friend. Oh, how do I distinct between my 2 friends? They asked me how I knew my friend. Oh God. I'm just gonna stop trying to make that part make sense. They just asked me how I knew one of those friends. And I was like, well, instead of saying how I came to be friends with that person, I started going into like how we might be related. That's the moral of the story. I went real resi about it and started talking about, well, we might be cousins. I think I think we're cousins in this way. No, hats off to you too, because I struggle with one needle. Like, I know how to do it, it doesn't look good. my one needle work doesn't look very good. I can't get like the beads to lay flat and for the thread to not be visible. I'm gonna tack down every black bead in this super curved section. Just like slightly pushing on the beads with my thumbnail so that it's resting against the bead that came before it. And that's so I can really make sure that they're close enough together that you're not going to see the white thread poking through. For the most part, but I think our totem system is more just for identity and for like prayer. We don't really assign like people and like to certain roles based off of their totem. So like a Crane Clan person, historically, they would often be like our leaders, or like a Bear Clan person would be a warrior. We don't really do that kind of thing anymore, but everybody does know their clan and introduce themselves and still consider other people within the same clan as like family. If I meet somebody who is Wolf Clan, I very much consider them family, like a cousin, basically. I exactly know what you mean. I had a girl go to school with me for 2 years in adult education. She sat with me first year, and the second year we started talking more. Oh my goodness! I love... You know what? I found somebody on Twitter before that I was related to. And it also helped me discover some family history that I did not know about. So I had an uncle, a great uncle, who moved away from here to go work in North Dakota. So like he moved his family there and he stayed there. And so this cousin that I met online, I don't even remember how we came to finding out about it, but she lived in North Dakota, and yeah, I was like, holy shit, we are related. I didn't even know I had cousins out in North Dakota. What? I'm a little bummed though, like we didn't stay in contact because we're related through her dad, and her dad don't have a relationship, so I don't think she really wanted to get to know me. I think it was just like a little too triggering for her maybe, which I'm fine with. That's okay. But yeah, last night when I was describing like how I might be related to my friend, I was like, I realized what I was doing, and I just kind of stopped myself, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm giving you too much information that you don't necessarily care about. We became friends because we worked together. It sure is, especially Indian country be small, man. I think being online has really made my Indian country like smaller for me too, personally. Just because I have, you know, I've connected with a lot of other Native people from around the continent. And it has led to me finding people who know me from online and in real life, which is pretty fun and exciting sometimes. Like my partner, when we first started dating, she's very close with her family, so she immediately told them, like, I'm seeing somebody. And they're like, oh, who? And she tells them, and one of her cousins was like, oh my God, I watch her on YouTube. Or like I recently did an event with some buddies of mine. We are in a couple like two-spirit groups, and so we have been having talking circles and feasts. And so one of my friends shared online a picture of a couple pictures of the event, basically of the feast, us preparing it. And another friend had shared it, and her cousin had called or had texted like, oh my God, I know her, I watch her on YouTube. I finished up Bear Paw Medallion, and the nails stick right out of the medallion. Oh, you post your beading to YouTube? Okay, I'll have to... Let me see. YouTube.com. Tea Smoker. Where is the... Can I just click on your name? Does it let me do that anymore? Oh, go to channel. Oh, and you game too. What do you play? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. I'm a gamer too. I don't think we really play the same games, but... Alright, I subscribed. If you're gaming on YouTube, do you game on Twitch too? I've been giving that a try lately, and I don't know, it's cute. There's not a lot of demand for Twitch streamers now because there's so many, but I still get people like coming in to watch me play. Oh, my sweater's stuck. There we go. Just YouTube? Okay. Oh, it's a tractor I'm hearing. They must be moving a bunch of snow. Alright, I think I can start doing every 2 beads now. This music sounds like a commercial. Did I accidentally move the camera? I'm not sure. It's fine. I tell you what, though, the lives are helping getting this project finished. I don't think I would be working on it right now if I didn't go live. I didn't pull the string through all the way. What? How did that happen? I Love Lucy. What do you mean? Oh, I didn't see that. Am I gonna have to go look now? Whoops. Oh, I think I see the bear pot. Wow, the bear pot looks good. Oh, I see it now. The I Love Lucy. That's so cute. We're all just inspecting your page, Tea Smoker. No pressure. Hey, Chucky, thank you. I haven't made one since that roach. I still have the frame though. I've been wanting to try and make another one, just you know, to like sell it. There's only 24 hours in a day though. Thank you, Empress. I'm hoping I can finish this design like soon enough to be able to do the other medallion I'm working on live. It's much more complex. Actually, let me go grab it real quick. Why not give y'all like a peek at what I'm doing? I'll be right back. It's just in the other room here. I have it in a bag because I don't trust my cats. This is the other one I'm working on. I actually don't even really know like what they intend to do with it, if it is a medallion or if they just want a beaded piece. This is for a college. This is their mascot. It's a northern pike. And I am using size 13 beads, except I was talking about this earlier too when somebody asked me where I get my beads from, and I was like, I bought some size 13 white beads from this place and they came in and I swear they're size 11. They're definitely much bigger and I don't have time to try and find some size 13 white, so I'm just gonna use them. I think it'll be okay. I think it'll provide like texture. But yeah, this is pretty intricate. Like this little section here took me so long. That was free-handed. I had to draw that on paper. Nice. I need to finish my second medallion. I've been so busy lately. I feel that so hard. Thank you, Empress. And Bear. For real, yeah. Though the company that I bought them from said that they were size 13 because I had to order them online. These white beads are not size, especially when you see them next to other size 13 beads. They're not size 13. But I'm just gonna run with it. And this is like a non-due date project. So it's not as pressing as this one. Yeah, and that's not the first bad experience I've had with the company I ordered them from. So I think I don't have a lot of faith in ordering from them again. I don't want to be that person that's like, I'm never buying from you again. But like, yeah, it's just not working out. And the only reason I bought those from a different company compared to, or not the one that I usually get my beads from, is because the one I usually get beads from was out of them. And the shipping is just so much that I can't justify buying only like one color. And I don't really have money to like drop in a bunch of beads, so I'm just gonna run with them. I didn't keep track if they charged more for 13s either. I think so. I think they'll work too. There isn't a whole lot of white except for on the top of the fish. I think it'll still be fine. So I think for like the spots that are on the top, there's like some red circles and then these little black things. So I think if I can just make like the little red circles out of the tiny beads and then like 2 or 3 small black beads, it'll work. My mother and late father showed me their skills making regalia, headdresses, shawls, moccasins, earrings, dream catchers, paintings. Wow. They're like me then. They know how to do a lot. I had to answer questions recently. Somebody had asked me if I could take or like answer a questionnaire for them for some sort of like newsletter or spotlight or something that they do, which I thought was pretty cool. And one of the questions was, where did you learn your art? And I was like, oh man, all over. Some of it I learned myself, some of it is mostly just like a lot of women in my life have taught me. So just a heads up for anybody if you're wondering, I think probably like another half hour is what I'll stay on for, and then I think I'll hop off. What time is it? 2:40? So yeah, like a little bit after 3 is when I'm gonna hop off, have some lunch, probably get some cleaning done. I've been contemplating actually spending some time while I have like this week off of work, actually making something for myself for once. So I might go hang out in my craft room later. Me too, Empress. Happy you were able to make it. I love beading. My mom doesn't bead anymore. I do feel closer to my father as he loved making everything by hand. He also used to make his nieces jingle dresses. Oh, cute. Oh, you had to curl the cones, eh? I've never done that for any of the dresses that I've made. I've always bought them pre-curled. I love that your dad was doing that too. In my community, there aren't a lot of men that sew and like make things like jingle dresses. I wouldn't say, like, I get why you're nervous. I wouldn't say they're necessarily like difficult to work with in a sense that they're hard to understand. They can be difficult to work with just because they can be hard on your hands. So you definitely like want to give yourself a lot of time to complete the cone process. when it comes time for that, like, don't think that you can get all of your cones on in a day or something. It's possible, you can do it, but you're gonna put your body through a lot of work. I actually had to go get a shot in my back one time because I made both my girls a jingle dress for each of them. So that was like about a little over 100 cones that I had put on in a weekend. So like 2 days. And yeah, I had to go get a shot in my back because of that. So give yourself time, and then, you know, do some hand exercises while you're doing it. And also having things to sort of cushion your hands when you're holding onto the pliers, I found helps tremendously. Like, you could either use big gloves. I didn't. I haven't tried that yet. I used something, I think I used washcloths, but I'm sure there's better alternatives. But I used something to cushion this part of my hand while I squeezed. Otherwise, that part will start hurting. Yeah, it was bad. At first, I didn't realize what was wrong with me. I was like, why does my back all of a sudden have a really painful, like, sharp pain? And then I realized, like, oh my goodness, I think it's from attaching the jingles. And I haven't had that specific back pain ever since, so it was definitely from that. No problem. My dad showed me how to hunt. Used to get one porcupine and sit there and pluck each quill. Oh, I've done that. I haven't dyed them yet, but I did pick up roadkill before and plucked the quills, and this it had so many quills, and I'm like, there's no way I need all of these. So I ended up calling another lady on my res who I know crafts, and I was like, hey yo, I have this porky, I've taken what I need from it, you want it? And she came and picked it up. Pick hairs for the head bustles. I tried doing that too, but the porcupine that I had didn't have good guard hairs for that. The porky was mostly quill, and that's when I talked to the lady that came and took the rest of it, I told her about that, and she actually told me that a lot of the porcupines in our area, which is like the Great Lakes area, it's Michigan, a lot of the porcupines in our area don't really have a lot of the hairs like that, the like long, thick hairs that are good for the headpieces or like roaches and stuff. That most of the porcupines that are good for that are like more west of us. Like, oh, the more I know. Just learning from others. But most of the natural things that I get, besides leather, I do like look out for leather at primarily powwow vendors is where I find and get my leather. I haven't really bought leather like off season or like off summer, I mean. I always get it from people at powwows. But any other natural material, like the porcupine quills I got from roadkill, or like any kind of barks and stuff, it's usually just luck. I come across it. Yeah, I don't really know. She also said like the porcupine that we had was on the younger side, so that could be part of it as well. The quills were smaller. But I don't know if that has anything to do with the guard hair. Like, I don't know. Usually baby animals are fuzzier. So you'd think a younger porcupine would have more of those hairs. I don't know. I guess they wouldn't be as long and thick if they weren't adult. Yeah, your dad did a lot. Wow. Preparing leather has always been on my bucket list of something to do. I have an uncle who, my family doesn't really have any like hunters or anything in it. But I have an uncle who wants to pick up hunting, and he also wanted to like take the leather from whatever he would catch and prepare it himself. And I was like, please let me know when you do that. I want to come learn and help and stuff. I don't think he's caught anything. I don't even know if he's gone out since that first year that he went out hunting. Like, do I stop this line or do I just curve it around? I feel like I should stop it just because the next row. Yeah. It definitely is, and in that case, if my uncle like catches a deer and we prepare the leather, it would be both of us learning at the same time as well. It'd be a good collaboration for figuring it out together. But he also has to learn the skill of hunting so that he can actually catch us something. Like, come on, Unc, get on that. So I tell you what, I am not a hunter. Nope. It's not in me. Oh, this is gonna be in kind of a hard to reach spot. For this one, from here on out, it's black. It's a logo, so there's not a lot of like creativity. I'm not sure what I want to do for the rope just yet. I think I want to do a wrap stitch around cord and do like a mixture of the black, green, and orange. Because at first I thought like maybe just an all black cord would be cool. But I don't know, I feel like that's not enough for me. Like I want to put the green and the orange on the cord as well. And with it being a wrap stitch, probably just like some sections of the cord can be each color. I haven't quite settled on how I want to do the cord just yet. But for a few reasons, the background is just going to be pure black. come on, there's like the tail is tying knots. It's useful. The long nails can be useful. Thank you. I used to always do peyote for my medallions, but I stopped doing that because I feel like it's almost like an upcharge at this point, just because of how much time they take. So I do wrap stitch now. You'd be surprised how simple peyote stitch is, but it's just tedious. Like, it takes so long. When you do peyote stitch, you can only add one bead at a time. Thank you for coming in, Tea Smoker. I hope you enjoy your lunch, your food. I feel like maybe I should take the last bead off, even though I already tacked this spot. I just feel like it'll line up better if I take that last one off. And then start the next row right here. I usually hold my thread without driving it through, just because when I'm tacking, it is creating a bit of a space between beads, however small that space is. And sometimes that can lead to, like if I were to string on this whole row and then drive the needle through, and then I tack down all the way up, it could result in like me having one bead too many or whatever. But when I have such small sections like this, I do feel comfortable going ahead and like driving the stringing thread through. And then tacking. End up with like an extra bead, Empress. It sucks. I hate having to like take the thread out of my needle and take a bead off. It's just not fun trying to rethread the needle with this Nemo thread. It just splits up at the ends. With that being said though, I won't do more than one section at a time though. Like I wouldn't like string this on and then string this on and then tack it. I will only do one at a time. Just in case. Otherwise I'm gonna have to undo more than what I want to have to undo. I've taught people how to bead, and it's funny, people who are new to beading or sewing, they don't fully understand right away that undoing things is usually like 40% of the time. And they get like so worked up sometimes and feel like, oh, I can't do this, I should just give up. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Our veterans have to undo things all the time. This is very normal. Like, I've been doing this stuff for 20 years and I still have to undo things. And it's not always like a matter of skill. I'd say sometimes it is. Some people have enough skill that they don't have to undo things as often, but everybody has to do it at one point or another. I'm not in frame again, sorry. So I think for the top of the crown, I'm gonna have to do every bead for most of it. Oh man, my thread is something else right now. What the heck? It's the tail. The tail is tying around and not separating. There we go. I might have to stop tacking with this thread. It's being squirrely. It sure does. And it can change its mind just as fast. Actually, no, I want to switch threads. Oh, I put the thread, this thread down, and then brought it up in the same spot, and it just came right back through and undid itself. I'll have to go next to it first. And then come back up over here, tack this down. See, this is why I always tack down, like when I'm starting a new line, I always tack down that first one. And I think it's just because the tension of the stringing thread doesn't allow this thread right here to not be seen. So that's why I always tack down the last bead and the first bead so that it stops that that thread being seen right there. There we go. Hi Evans, what's up? The top of the crown is definitely a little tricky. It was pretty tricky to do the crown at the top. Like, if you can see, there's definitely a lot of variation in how I laid the beads down. Some of them are sideways to other ones. I need one more bead on this row. Kind of a thicker one too. Let's see. I think this will work. This logo is it's a DraftKings logo. This medallion is being commissioned from me by our tribal president, and it's intended to be a gift for another person. I have nothing to do with drag kings. I am friends with some drag kings, yes. No, but I have nothing to do with DraftKings. Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, it's been 3 hours. It's a little after 3 my time. This is what we have so far. We've gotten a lot done today. We finished filling in this portion of the green. We filled in this black portion, did a line all the way around, and then also started doing an outline of black around the design. And that's awesome. That's really good. I definitely think tomorrow I'll be able to finish up this outline and really get started on filling this in with black. The beadwork it's laying nice and flat. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a really simple design. Sans this part of the crown. This part of the crown is definitely the more intense part of the design, but it's not too bad. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna hop off, go get something to eat, do some cleaning, live my life, you know. I will definitely be back on tomorrow. Like I said, I'm gonna be on every day for the next week until I did write until Saturday. There's a strong chance that I'll also stream on Sunday. So a week from now. I don't have to work this week, so I have time to hang out. And I gotta get stuff, I have to get this done. So yeah, I will be back on tomorrow. Hope to see you then. Until then, let's see. Vamos a pick up, man.